This is probably the single best exercise a golfer can do in the gym, but most golfers never touch it. Okay, golfers, so today I'm going to walk you through one of my absolute favorite exercises, the barbell deadlift. This is a great exercise to implement to get more power and strength in golf because it's such a powerful hip extension exercise. And when we golf, that is what we do to generate power. The first thing we're looking at is the hinge sequence. So how do we hinge properly? So what I mean by a hinge is pushing the hips back and hinging forward, and then coming right back up. So what that really does is it kind of gets, as I hinge forward, it kind of exposes my glutes a lot more so I can actually use them to drive. A lot of people, when they do a deadlift, is they'll reach down like this, and then to get up, they'll usually pull with the back first, and then they'll try and get the hips going. And that's usually where a lot of back pain occurs. Lots of different things to focus on. I'm gonna go through kind of what I teach people and then trying them on your own. Again, starting nice and lightweight. But I think the first thing you wanna kind of get like a concept on is, how do I implement this into a workout routine? What are the reps and the sets that I do? I usually like to stay within 3 to 4 sets of like 4 to 5 reps. And the reason for that is this is a really technical exercise, and I'm more over like quality over quantity. So sometimes when people do a deadlift, they'll do like 10 to 15 reps, which is a lot. So if you think about the quality of those reps, how many of those are actually really good reps, and how many are due to actually you just feeling overall like really, really tired? Okay, so I want to get like 4 to 5 reps, like super good quality. Take a break, do about 4 to 5 sets of those. Now that we got this, you also want to try and get a little bit of a warm up going before you get to your actual working weight. So I'm not gonna just go, all right, deadlift time, I'm throwing like 245s and I'm gonna do it. We want to do what's called like ramp up sets to kind of get you moving, see how the body's feeling, and then when it's feeling really, really good, get to that working set weight. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a setup. So when we get to the bar, you want to pretty much have the foot.
You can't do a deadlift with one foot.
Like the bar over top of the midline of the foot.
This is future Keaton here. The feet, not the foot. I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay. If it is too far away, I have to kind of like use my back to grab the bar this way. And if I'm too close, I kind of have to get my knees out of the way first and then drive the hips. So it's really important to kind of get the bar over the midline of the foot.
The feet.
Okay. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to have the thumbs out like this. You're going to have a little bit of a knee bend, and you're going to hinge forward and grab the bar just like this. Okay. Having the same position on each side is obviously going to help you quite a bit, but just imagine, yeah, they're both very, very equal, and that's your position there. Again, lots of cues to focus on when doing a deadlift, but the one that I like to really focus on is what is the muscle that you're trying to use to get this weight up. You should have a really clear idea of what that is before you pick the bar. Because in the midst of you trying to pick up this bar, you're gonna think, I have to do whatever I can to get this up. You're not really gonna focus on the muscle group, and it's not gonna get that strong. The biggest tip I like to use, so I'm down in this position, I get my back's pretty straight when I hinge down, is my first thing is I'm driving the ground through with my heels, and I'm trying to drive my hips forward. Driving the hips forward to get up so I can feel a lot of the glutes. What I see a lot of people do is they'll go here and they'll try and pick it up like this first, and then they'll drive the hips. If I have like 200 pounds and I do this, that is so much tension and load on the back. So I want to make sure when I grab the bar, I have a little bit of tension there already, like I pick it up just a little bit, just to kind of get that like tension in the back, and then I'm driving the hips forward. When I go back, I'm reversing the hinge. So I'm pushing the hips back and I'm lowering down. Okay. Thing to focus on too is keeping the bar nice and close to the body. If it gets too far away, like here, as I go down, look what happens to my back. That's a lot of tension and load on the back. So the biggest thing is the hip drive. I'm gonna give you some other cues. If you feel your hip drive is really, really good, what happens a lot is the tension in the back will kind of drop as we get more weight. So the shoulders will kind of round. And a technique I like to use, or like a good cue, is to try to break the bar this way when you grab it. So if I can't break this bar. It's way too hard. But if I try to, just kind of engages my lats quite a bit and creates that tension. So I feel like I have really good tension in my upper back. I'll show you what that looks like. If I was to go down here and I have no tension like this, I don't really look that strong. If I try and break the bar, I can feel that engagement of my lats. So breaking the bar here, good tension, awesome. And then drive the hips. Really good cue. Again, when I'm driving the hips, I'm engaging my glutes. Huge. Okay? So that keeps the upper back stable. I'm using my hips, I'm using my glutes to kind of get the bar up. The last thing I'll try and give you for a cue is core engagement. Core is huge. A lot of people when I see do deadlift is they'll just hold their breath the entire time. They do like 4 or 5 reps, face is super red, and they're almost gonna pass out because they've just been holding their breath for like 30 seconds, moving lots of weight. So you want to try and get core engagement, but also to breathe. It's tough to get the core to engage as you breathe out, but you can kind of practice this on your own. Is if you have like two couple inches to the side of the belly button, you can push your fingers in there. Try and activate the core and breathe. So you're gonna breathe out and try to like move the fingers outwards to get the core to engage. So as I breathe out, I can feel that tension in my core. Really tough to do, but again, like if you're not doing deadlift, just for practice, just try and get that sensation of breathing out and squeezing that core. Okay, because the core keeps the trunk very stable as we deadlift, right? So what that looks like, I'm here, breaking the bar, squeezing that core, breathing out as we come up, inhale as we come down. Okay? And back down. Okay? As you can see, I'm kind of resting in between, dropping it, getting my position. I'm not going like barely touching the ground. You want to make sure that you have like a good setting position before you do the rep. So that is the deadlift. Again, it's similar to like when you have a golf lesson, golf instructor gives you like 10 different things to learn, and for techniques like this, it's a little overwhelming. I totally get that. So when you start this movement, start with a small weight, focus on one thing at a time, okay? And have that idea of like, what is something I can rely upon? Like what cue can I rely upon that really helps me do this movement properly, and kind of rely on that, and then eventually add on those other cues if you find that you're failing in some certain areas, okay? So that's kind of an overview of the deadlift, and I'll catch you guys next time.